Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is my podcast where I talk about all the things that I've been crafting, and my name is Michaela. For sake of time, we're just gonna jump right in to some finished objects and ideas, inspiration. There's one new cast on. I just filmed last week, so I'm not gonna show everything because a lot of things had little or no progress on them. And I have the whole day to myself, which is amazing, but I do have to leave in about an hour. It's a sad day for me. Nobody asked for this information, but here you go. I have a piercing on the back of my neck that I got when I was 16. Dumb decision. It's a permanent piercing. It becomes one with your body because your skin grows through the post that is in your skin. Anyways, I could really go into detail, but I'll spare you. Over the past 12 years, it has been yanked, caught on things constantly. The last draw was my husband and I got massages for our anniversary last month, and I guess the lady didn't see it, and she took a hot stone and she put it right on top, and she like rubbed it back and forth, and I winced, and she was like, "Oh, is it too hot?" And I was like, "No, but I have a piercing right there," and you just annihilated it. And so now it's like hanging out. It looks real gross, and it doesn't feel very good either, so I'm finally going to get it cut out. I have wanted it removed for a long time because it's very annoying, but it's not a fun process. You're not under any anesthesia or anything. It's just under the scalpel, and they'd cut it out. So anyways, that's what I get to do today after I record this. So to keep my mind off of it, I thought that I would just do a podcast, talk to you guys for a little bit. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So yeah, my sister-in-law has the kids all day. I asked her if she would keep them just while I went to the appointment, and she said, "Well, just leave them all day and have the day to yourself." And I was like, "Well, if you insist, okay." So yeah, I'm excited to have some me time, which is not easy to come by. So I've got some coffee here. I actually am sitting right in front of the kitchen door with the door open. It's pretty chilly today because it's rainy, so this is keeping me toasty. I had to do that because there was like no light anywhere in this house that I could get good lighting. So the door is open. I'm sitting in front of it. You'll probably hear the birds outside. And I've got a nice little chill on my legs. That's okay. My coffee will keep me warm. So let's get started. But first I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. Isn't this mug beautiful? I found this at Goodwill. It says Korea on the bottom. I don't know if it was handmade or not, but it's a beautiful little mug. Okay, so we will start with what I'm wearing. This is, I don't think that I've worn this on the podcast before. This is my Alpine Bloom. It's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I finished this last October, I want to say, maybe September. And I didn't get much wear out of it until recently because we went into the cold months, and it was just, it's short sleeves. So it was too cool for me to wear it. But a day like today, where the temperature I would say is probably in like the 60s, but it's rainy and overcast and there's a little bit of a chill, this is perfect because it is wool, superwash, but still. So I knit mine on the recommended needles. I did not use recommended yarn. I used a Cascade 220, and this was a Zauber ball. I am kind of obsessed with the way this color work turned out, and it is the perfect fit. And it's colorful, but it's just neutral enough that I can match it with a lot of things. So today I'm wearing it with this green gingham dress, and I did make my sleeves a bit longer than the pattern and shortened the lace from the pattern. So the pattern is a shorter sleeve but longer lace. So I had a little modification there. And yeah, I love this. Definitely recommend this pattern. I know in the past a lot of people have issues with Caitlin Hunter's color work, yokes not fitting properly, And I was also a victim to that with my Jupiter crop, which if you've been here for a long time, maybe you've seen it. I have since had to give that to my daughter because it was a negative ease pattern and I could squeeze into it, but it just was not comfortable. So it now belongs to her. But all that to say, this pattern worked out beautifully, and I believe I made the second size. I was tempted to go for more of an oversized fit just to be sure that it would fit me correctly, but my gauge was correct and I just went with what the pattern said and it turned out beautifully. Blocking made a world of difference with this, of course, but yeah. Oh, I said I used recommended needle size. I think I actually went up a needle size for the color work. I talked about it on a podcast months ago, but my brain can't hold on to little information like that. Okay, so I have 2 finished objects from last time and a project that I forgot to show you guys last week that I love, so I need to show it. And I'm going to start with that one because it's the odd man out. It is a sewing project, so that's what I'll show first. If you can hear the birds, I hope they're not distracting. I actually love the sound of the birds. Yeah, but they are kind of loud. I may have to shut the door. We'll see. Okay, so I have this apron. It is kind of like a pinafore dress apron, and I love it. I wear it all the time. And I wanted more aprons because in the spring and summer, I tend to wear a lot of dresses just because they're the most comfortable and cool. But I am working in the garden with the chickens, in the kitchen, getting dirty. So I like a full apron, not just a waist apron. Those are handy, but I prefer a full like dress apron. So I found this sheet at Goodwill and I just laid down that apron and measured out the same pieces and did my best to sew a copy. The seams are not like perfectly perfect. They're not like double folded in. They're just once folded. It's an apron. So at the end of the day, it'll be worn in my house. So who cares? But this is what it looks like. It is this yellow floral. It's got a big thing of dirt right there. It needs to be washed. So this is the front. It almost just looks like a little dress, but it does split here from the front and the back. So the front is one piece and then the back has 2 pieces and this little piece at the top. And what you do is, I'll try to insert a picture of how it looks when I have it on. You bring these around to the front and tie them in the front and it cinches it up. And I just think it's so cute. I wish it was 1, not see-through, and 2, actually a dress because I would wear it out. But I don't have the patience for when I'm sewing with a fabric like this that is pretty see-through. I don't have the patience to go in and line it and do all that extra stuff. I don't have the patience for it. But this is good enough and I love this thing. I wish I had a pattern to point you to, but unfortunately it's honestly not even that great of a job, but it was just an apron that I already had and copied. Okay, so that's that. The next finished object is my Follow Your Path socks, and I need to actually put it on the blocker. One sec. Okay, you guys have seen these before many times. I'm sure you're sick of seeing them, but are you though? Because they're really pretty. These are my Follow Your Path socks. That's a pattern by Kay Litton of Crazy Sock Lady Designs. I mean, look at that. I feel like I say this every time I show you guys, but it is so beautiful. And it should be, because I did not necessarily enjoy knitting this pattern. Like I said last week, because I had to knit the majority of it English style, and I'm not an English style knitter. I am a continental knitter. So it made them take a bit longer for me. And I would have them both on a sock blocker, but I can't seem to find my other one. I don't know how you lose one. I guess the same, you lose one sock. but you can see they look tiny, but they stretch quite a bit. And I knit these on 2.25 millimeter needles. That's the first time I've ever knit a sock on a 2.25. But I was finding that on my 2.5 millimeters, my 64 stitch counts were a little too loose. So I was starting to do 60 stitches, but then I thought, let me try a 2.25 with 64, and they fit me like a glove. I do find that my sock knitting is a little bit tighter than my average gauge, but I'm figuring out what works for me. So yeah, that is my follow your path socks. That grammar didn't sound correct. These are, there we go. I love them. And this was a yarn that was gifted to me at Christmas time. It was called Peppermint Patties, I believe, or maybe just Peppermints, which is very fitting. So I feel like they pass for winter time, but also they pass for spring because they're bright and colorful, which is what I love. My next finished object, I am flying through these because like I said, I have to leave soon. And I just talked to you guys last week. My hope is that I can continue posting weekly and then my videos won't be quite as long, because when I wait so long in between and I go to edit that video, I usually have like an hour and a half worth of footage, and then I have to edit it down. And that's almost more difficult than the actual filming process, because not only do I need to film uninterrupted, I need to be uninterrupted when I'm editing, and that's a lot of time to be uninterrupted. So I'm trying to do it more often and condense the length of the videos. Okay, my next finished object is my Reset cardigan by La Maison Relili, and I love it so much. Oh, we got a big crease in it. Whoops. Okay. She's so pretty. Prettiest color too. Like, that is just so pretty. This is a, if you missed it, let me get the yarn out. I'm sorry for the crinkling. This is Xanadu Bijou Spun Quality Yak Fibers 100% cashmere. And when I tell you it's the softest thing, it is the softest thing. And oh my gosh, it's just like butter. So anyways, I talked about putting little flower buttons on it, and that's exactly what I did. I think they are so darling. This kind of feels 90s-ish to me with those buttons, and also I feel like in the 90s, or even really more the early 2000s, you saw a lot of those like short sleeve, really short cardigans that would go over a dress. Not even, you couldn't even call it a cardigan. It was just like a little shrug. And that's almost how this is. It's pretty short, pretty cropped. I'll put a picture here of me wearing it. If you follow me on Instagram, you have already seen this. But it fits me perfectly. And I believe it is just long enough to wear with this certain pair of shorts that I have that are super high-waisted, because I was thinking it'd be really cute over a tank top with those shorts and my little, I have some little floral sneakers that I thought would just be really cute. But she's so pretty. I love her. Now this pattern did not call for this weight of yarn, so I had to hold this double to get gauge because it is a very light fingering. And I used 2 full skeins. Let's see how many yards are in the skein. 400 yards in a skein. How many grams was it? It just says 2 ounces. So I used 2 full skeins, so 800 yards, and then I would say about a third of 2 more skeins. I still have quite a bit of this left, and I think I may incorporate this into some kind of shawl or hat, or, you know, I'll keep it in stash, and when the right project strikes my eye, we'll have some beautiful cashmere to knit it up in. This yarn was just such a dream. I love it. All right, so that's my reset cardie. I knit the second, no. I might have knit the third size. It is on my Ravelry, I believe. But I think this was one that had like an extra small and then an extra small and then a small. And I knit this small. Okay, I need a sip of coffee. I don't even know where to go next. Okay, all the other projects from last week have a little bit of progress on them, but not enough to show. But last week I talked about green yarn that was coming in the mail. It arrived and it is exactly what I imagined. So if you missed it, I saw a video on Instagram of a girl wearing a grass green sweater and it was so beautiful. And I said, I gotta make one. I don't think it was knit, so there wasn't a pattern. But I said, I need to knit that. So I went on Wool Warehouse, and that's the place where I seem to find the cheapest prices for yarn, because I am on a budget when it comes to yarn, because if I was not, it'd be crazy up in here. I'm very impulsive, so being on a budget is difficult for me. But anyways, that's besides the point. What I ordered was Drops Cotton Merino in this pistachio color. Isn't that gorgeous? And to go with it, this is not, I feel like, conventional, but I got Drops Kid Silk in pistachio ice cream. And I did that because I wanted it to be grass green, but I didn't want it to be like so heavy. I like when I add a mohair that's of a different lightness, because it kind of heathers the yarn. It'll lighten it up a little bit and it just adds a little bit more depth. So I did a almost proper swatch. This is one of the biggest swatches I've ever done. And it's still like it's only 2 inches, but it's the perfect color. And if you look closely, you can see where that, whoa, the lighting is getting real weird. You can see where the mohair peeps through, but from afar, it's just green. And it's so pretty, but it's not like neon in your face green. I feel like this is a very subtle way of doing grass green. So I did that last night. And then immediately I got perfect gauge, which the last time I knit one of, the pattern I'm doing is My Time sweater, right? Yes, by Lily Kate France. And the last time I knit one of her patterns, which was the Be Thankful cardigan, I also got exact gauge. So I almost even wondered if I should swatch, but it's been like 2 years since I knit that, so I figured I better. But my gauge has stayed consistent with hers, so I cast it on right away. I left this here just so I could show you guys what it looked like, because what I have so far is not enough to really see what's going on. But I will undo this so that I have both full skeins of that yarn. So I will put a picture of the My Time sweater here. This is the sweater I'm knitting with this yarn. And so far, I don't have much. I just started this last night. But this is the upper back. And I just did some short rows over here, and I'm about to start short rows over here. And see, you can't really see much about the fabric because I don't have enough knit up. So I am using recommended needles. It is a US 9. So I suspect that this is gonna knit up pretty quickly, excuse me, which is really exciting because I'm just over the moon about this project. As much as I really need neutrals in my wardrobe, I do, because when it comes time to get dressed, I have a really hard time putting things together because everything is colorful and I don't have a lot of things that go together. But I just can't help myself. I do have some neutrals coming along, so that's good. But when it comes to like the world is my oyster, I'm picking out any yarn color, especially with Drops. Their color selection is insane. I just can't pick a beige whenever there is green, you know? And that's fine. As I get older, I'm really figuring out what my style is, and not just, oh, I saw that on Pinterest and it looked good, so that's my style. You know, everybody loves or needs neutrals at some point, and I do have a few, and I will knit more, but the overarching theme in my knitting is typically color, and I'm okay with that, because I will find something to wear it with, even if it will only go with one outfit. I enjoy the process of knitting, so to me, it's okay. And knitting is supposed to be fun, you know? So anyways, that's my time sweater. Now, okay, it is raining now, and you might be able to hear that, so I'm gonna shut the door. Okay, the lighting might be a little different. I shut the door and put my light on my phone. Hopefully up until now has not been like super loud, and if it has been, I apologize. I'm still figuring out the whole, like, you would think that having a mic on would drown out the other noises and just amplify my voice, but for some reason it just makes everything louder from what I'm finding. Yeah, I'm still working with that. Okay, so now I have ideas, and I have a lot of them. So if you follow me on Instagram, I posted 2 or 3 days ago about, sorry, about this yarn. This is a yarn from Long Dog Yarns in the Outlander collection called An Echo in the Bone. This is a very special skein to me. I love it. I love Outlander. I don't typically buy hand-dyed yarn. So yeah, I'm just really excited about this. So I wanted to make sure I was gonna knit the right project. So originally I was gonna knit the Upwards top by Lily Kate France, which is a tank that is almost like a halter, and it has a keyhole in the back. And some have been able to knit it with one skein. I say some because I don't really know what size I would make, and I had fear that it would not come out large enough for me to wear outside of the house. So I was torn, and then I found this in Stash, which came from a gift box that someone sent me, and they go together very well. So I found a pattern called Birds on a Wire. It's a t-shirt. I'll put a picture of it here. That I could use these in. And I posted on Instagram which one, the tee or the tank. And it was very close. It was like 45% for the tank and 55% for the tee. But here's my problem. The tee was not tested and had only one other project, or maybe 2. And I really wanted to see it on more people because I do not have the same body shape as the sample photo, and I liked how the sample photo fit. It was like a boxy kind of fit, but I had a feeling it wasn't going to fit me like that. And I wasn't a huge fan of how the garter stitch sections, if you can see in the picture, they like stick out, they protrude, which is just the nature of garter. But it's there to make that transition more seamless. So I don't know, I was torn. But then I was watching some videos of one skein projects, and I don't remember whose video I saw it on, but I saw the Augusta lace scarf. I'll put a picture here. It only uses about a half a skein of fingering weight, and it's so cute, and it would be perfect in this color because this is color, but it's also pretty neutral. I feel like it would match many things, and it's such a small little like neckerchief that you could wear in the spring, even in the summer, and then of course I could wear it in the fall and winter. So that's what I'm gonna do. And that will only take half, so with remaining bits, I'm going to use, I'm gonna use this also in a pair of socks, which is a pattern I already own, the Midsummer Blossoms, which comes with 2 sock patterns. This is the one that I'm gonna make with this. And what I'm gonna do, I have a white. The majority of the sock will be white, and then that little lace section will be with this, just as like a nice little pop in there. And I think this will be really dainty and pretty. And I'm sure I'll still have more of this left and who knows what I'll use it for after that. But I really wanted to just make this really go far, and I think that's the best way that I can do that while still loving the finished pieces enough to wear them often. So that's my plan for the Outlander yarn. I have fiber in my mouth. It's bound to happen. I'm really excited about these socks, and at first I didn't think I was going to be able to start them soon because I need to start a pair of socks for my sister-in-law. But she tried on one of my socks, and the needles that I typically use, it's not going to fit her. So my typical sock needles can do this, and then I have to go to a different size for her socks, which will be with these yarns. This is actually the yarn that is from my sweater. This is Cascade 220, nope, I lied, it's not 220, it's Cascade Heritage in the color Limestone. And then this is a little mini that I had in stash. And I'm gonna make her the Ruffle Socks by Petite Knit. I'm not gonna do the heel. I believe the heel in the pattern is a different heel than, it's not a heel flap and gusset, but I think I'm gonna do the heel flap and gusset just so I can get this contrast color in there, because I'm not gonna do it on the ruffle. And I don't even know if I'll do it on the toe. I think I'm just gonna do all the sock gray with the pink heel. And I think this will be really cute. I mentioned last week that I gave my sister-in-law a little voucher for a pair of hand knit socks for Christmas, part of her Christmas gift last year, and I still haven't done it. So finally getting to that, and she chose the perfect pattern because I was gonna buy that pattern anyways to knit myself a pair eventually. So that works out. So that's coming soon. I was gonna wind this up last night, and then my yarn came in, my green yarn, and I couldn't wait to knit it, so this got put on the back burner. But I am going to wind it up today when I get back home from the scalpel appointment. I have a lot of things I need to wind up. Okay, so that, whoops. The Upwards top, the tank top by Lila Kate France. I do still really want to make it, but I didn't want, like I said, I didn't want to use a yarn that was like super special to me. So I do have plans to make it with this Tippy Tree yarns in this yellow color. This is called Felicity. Very pretty, variegated yellow. It's got some green in there, and I think this will be really pretty in that top. And yellow is my favorite color. So even if I don't have enough to make it as long as I would typically like, I know that it's something that I will still wear at least around the house or maybe as an undershirt. So I'm excited about that. I need to find a mini or some contrasting color to do the I-cord edging for the straps and stuff. But I am really excited about that. I have way too many things going on, but that's fine. That's how I thrive, you know? When inspiration strikes, you just gotta go with it, and it's fine. Now when winter gets here and I have like 700 sweaters that have been in hibernation that I'm working on, I might think differently, but for now we're good. Okay, last thing I'm gonna talk about is a yarn that I got at a thrift store like 4 days ago on Tuesday. I actually didn't even see this. My sister-in-law said, look at this yarn, do you want this? And I said, oh yes, give me all of them. This is Lion Brand Wool Ease in just a, not like super white, but a creamy white color. I got 3 packs, so there are 9 balls total, and they are each, it's in the Fisherman colorway. It's 80% acrylic, 20% wool. There are 197 yards per skein. So I have like 1,800 yards, which is plenty for a sweater. I could have probably made it on just the 2 bags, but it felt wrong to leave just 1 bag, you know? So I got them all. And especially they were only $5 for the 3, which I think is a pretty good deal. I think you would typically pay around that for 1 ball. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, of course, when I got home, I went to Ravelry in the advanced search, and put in some filters for what I could make with this. And even though we're about to go into summer, I'm dying to cast on this sweater. I forgot the name, but it is a pattern by Petite Knit. And this will be my neutral knit to fill that void. Obviously, I'm not like dedicated to doing this right away because it is spring, but I would like to at least get it on the needles, because I find that if I don't put something on the needles right away with a specific pattern in mind, I'll change my mind. And a lot of times my first choice is actually better than what comes after. So a lot of times that's why I just cast things on and then they sit for a while. Like I have like 3 or 4 sweaters in hibernation right now, but I'm very excited about them and I want to finish them. And I'm glad that they are started, if that makes sense. Same with, I have 2 shawls going that I'm also like chomping at the bit to finish. But one thing at a time. Okay, no, 5 things at a time. Whatever my active number of whips is. It ranges, but that's okay. Anyways, I do want to cast this on soon just to have it on the needles, and maybe it could be done by fall and winter so that I could actually wear it for the whole season, because typically, I think most knitters are this way, we knit sweaters in the fall and winter, and I typically finish them right when the season is over. And then I have to wait till the next year to wear it. And that's a shame. So we'll see if I can get ahead. We'll see. We'll just see. I'm feeling very inspired with my knitting right now, and I feel like I'm knitting 24/7. Not complaining at all. I really enjoy it and I love it, and I am feeling very prolific right now. I feel like I'm getting a lot of things done. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. That's all I've got for today. And we're only at 33 minutes. See, I like this. This is much more doable, and it's a lot less overwhelming than when I wait 3 months and then 1, I'm rusty, 2, I have too much to talk about, and the video is 7 miles long. So we'll see if I can get back here next week. I feel like I've been a little hyper in this video, and that's kind of just my natural personality. I just am not on edge because there's no one here. I know I'm not going to be interrupted or I'm not overwhelmed. So yeah, this may be a different side of me than you're used to seeing, but I am always excited about knitting, so maybe I'm just full of it. But anyways, wish me luck, because I'm headed to get my neck cut. That sounds so disgusting. I'm so sorry if you are like queasy at the mention of that kind of stuff. So am I. I'm really not looking forward to it. And I have an hour drive to think about it on the way there. I'm just praying that they have some sort of topical anesthetic. Is that the right word? I don't know. It's at a tattoo parlor, and a lot of times they do have like numbing sprays and stuff, so I'm gonna ask, because it's not gonna be fun. I had the same piercings on my not really hips, but like on my stomach, the bottom of my stomach, also at 16. Dumb mistake. And when I got pregnant with my first baby, I had to get those cut out, and it was not fun. It wasn't awful though, because the skin there is a lot more elastic and there's a lot more give, and it's just not as tender as your neck. But even those were rough, and so I'm just really nervous, but it has to be done. And I know it's going to be so freeing to have this stinking thing gone, because I can't tell you how many times my woolly shawls would get hung on it. My like superwash shawls that the yarn is pretty slick, they wouldn't really cause issues, but little tiny fibers from my woolly shawls would get hung, and so I have not worn my shawls a ton because of that. And it's just a pain in the butt, I'll be honest. I have wanted this thing out for so many years, so I'm really excited to be done with it, but yeah, everything comes with a price, right? Don't make dumb decisions. If you're 16 and you're watching this, which I don't think there are any 16-year-olds watching this, but if you are young, don't make dumb decisions like I did. Don't get permanent piercings until you're older and you can think it through, because I did not. I didn't think about the process of getting them removed one day. Anyways, enough about that. I have about 30 minutes till I have to leave, so I think I'm going to knit just a little bit to calm my nerves. And I will chat with you guys hopefully again next week. So until then, happy crafting. Bye.